Hi students, welcome to the third part in this chapter called as Programming Methodology, and the part we are going to deal is Programming Constructs. So I would advise you to follow this blue cursor so you know where I am and what I am talking about. What are programming constructs? In programming languages, you need to do things, or in order to solve a problem, you need to do things in a sequence, or you need to take decisions, or you need to repeat a thing multiple times called as iteration or looping. Now, programming constructs are statements of a programming language which are used to solve a given problem. Although you may think solving a problem is really a great and a difficult thing, it not really is. It just consists of three types of statements. The first statement is a sequential statement. An example of a sequential statement is, suppose you had to find the sum of two numbers. First, what you will do, you will read the two numbers, you will calculate the sum, and then you will print. So here if you see, you had to do things in a particular sequence. There was no decisions, there was no looping, nothing. Now let us say I ask you to guess a number and I want to tell you if it's a lucky number. And the number I choose as a lucky number happens to be 100. So in this case, if you enter any other number, I won't do anything. But if you enter 100, I'm going to simply tell you, oh great, you have guessed the lucky number. So how do I find out if you have entered 100? I'm going to check is or if number equal to 100. Output, congratulations, you have entered 100, and that's it. So I need to take a decision or make a selection to understand whether you have entered 100. Now, iteration and looping, we have already taken a look at a number of programs in flowcharts as well as in algorithms. What is iteration or looping? Doing the same task repeatedly or again and again a given number of times or till the condition is true. If you remember, an example of iteration or looping is print numbers from 1 to 100, 1 to n. So I am printing one number, increasing the value of I by 1 and printing the next number as long as the value of I is less than or equal to n. So if you understand programming, programming is not something really great. It's all about solving a problem using just these three approaches, either doing things in step, doing or taking decisions, or looping repeatedly till an action becomes false. In real life, when you join a company or you're working on a program, you will invariably use a combination of all of these three techniques: sequential, selection, decision making, iteration, and looping. It's almost impossible to think of a large program without the use of these three ways of solving a problem. So in the next few sessions, I'll try to explain to you what you mean by sequential way of solving a problem, what you mean by selection or decision way of solving a problem, what you mean by iteration or looping way of solving a problem. So let's take a look at this selection construct. So in a selection construct, if you look at the right hand side of the screen, I will do one statement, I will do the second statement. I'll keep doing statements in a sequence till I reach the end point or till I find the solution. The best way to represent or remember sequential constructs is think of area of a circle, area of a triangle, sum of two numbers. These are all examples of sequential constructs because you're doing one step at a time in a sequence. In a sequential construct, there is no forward jumps. You're not jumping from S1 to S3, or you're not going back from Sn back to S2. So there's a certain flow from top to down, and it's going in one statement at a time, one sequence at a time. So here S1, S2, S3 are all examples of simple statements. What could be these simple statements? It could be statements like input A comma B. That means read values into the variables A and B. Or it could be assignment statements like this. A is assigned the value B, increase the value of I by 1, and A is B plus C. Or it could be a single statement like print 10, output A comma B comma C. So these are all examples of simple sequential constructs. So every program you are guaranteed to have at least a few sequential statements. You may or may not have selection, may or may not have iteration, but you'll almost certainly have some kind of a selection statement. So with this, I hope you just got a gentle introduction to programming constructs and the three types of programming constructs. And we have just discussed about the sequential construct along with three different examples of where we can use sequential constructs. In the next session, I'll be talking about the selection or decision making construct, which involves if else, if switched case, and so on. Until then, goodbye.